Hello there. I'm Kate. I'm in the nest, and I don't know about you, but I've had a really busy day. So I take measures to reward myself when I've done something big, and I hope you can too. So this is going to be a scrappy stitch along, and you may not be working on the same project as me, but I suppose it's a reminder of, how important it is to be mindful and listen to our bodies. So I've been to the dentist, and I go to a beautiful dentist in Sydney, but that has been something that doesn't bring me a lot of excitement, but I always feel so good for facing it. And now that I'm home, I just said to my husband, I'm going down to have a little play. So it really is a play with scraps and snippets. So I'm very much I'm on a roll with these tiny little pieces that may end up as their own pieces, or they might get cut up to be something else on another piece. So here we go, a little scrap of blanket, very thin, and I love that that's torn. Actually, stop talking so fast. How are you guys? Has anyone else been to the dentist lately? I hope it went well. I've got to go back, but I've just set a goal. I've got some very exciting things coming up, so I thought attend to this rather than staying home and stitching all day. Get out there, get it done, and then it's another year. Okay, so I'm hoping, yeah, as I said, that you're just here for the fun and the games because I'm playing, and as I've said many times, that's what I believe is so good for our soul. Okay, so blanket, I haven't stitched anything, and I thought, are you sick of seeing me do this? But it is what it is. This is what I'm doing, and I need someone to chat to. So, scrap a blanket. This was a piece of fabric, and I don't know where I got it from, but isn't it beautiful? Could it have been in Beck's kit? I'm not sure. Underneath it, I have a bit of, and you've seen it many times on many of my pieces. It's the sofa that keeps on giving. I love it because it's linen, and I just wanted a little bit of background fabric. I found this little snippet that actually was on my snippet roll, which is actually, I should show you that. The story of Kate's life. This is my snippet roll now. It's nude and red and needs to grow again. In fact, seeing I said that, why don't we do it now? Now, you might do your snippet rolls very differently. I think this was my first. I use it for the purpose of pleasure while it's done, and then even more pleasure when I can harvest it and reuse the bits. So they've all gone. And we're just left with that. Look at that beautiful whiteness. And see, I'm just thinking that don't want the red at the moment, but I might not use this on this piece, but I could. Is that actually more in keeping with what I want? No, it might be a bit bright, but you can see it's the same fabric, I'm hoping. Yeah, lots of fun. Okay, what else? That's the snippet, which was just in my little, one of my many nests of snippets. And then this is a beautiful doily that I've been using in one of my quilts, and look at that edging. That, you can't say no to that. So that's where I started. This is the biggest piece. Tucked under is this piece. What's uniting them is a sense of tonal color. However, this blue is not quite what I'm about on this piece. I like the violets, but maybe not that big blue bit there. So I have this other little, never call them scraps, but little morsel left over, and I'm thinking that could go there. I also got everything all over the place. I've been having fun. Look, I'm always experimenting. There's my standy-uppy, what are these called? Suspargo Wonderfeel threads. So I found that at the op shop and I forgot to show you. And that comes down. Isn't that gorgeous? And I carry it out to the lounge room. And I've got my these ones in that bowl for a change. And so, look, that's what I was trying to tell you. Get that out of the way. Balance it over there. But it might all fall down. I came across, got this ages ago from the sewing basket, I think, way before I was able to do beading, and I still really can't do it, but gee, I love it. Love beads. So this was, I think, a great discovery for me, because these ones are those little tiny seed ones, but they're already sewn together. So wouldn't they be nice somewhere? Hey. Oh, excuse me. Someone reminded me it was wattle season. I thought, oh, of course, here we go. The pollen's out, which for us is spring. Okay, what am I going to do? I've taken... See, I'm getting more excited as I talk to you, because I do feel you are the reward. That could be not a sharp needle. It looks the same as that one. Okay. I tried to get a whole lot out so that I think we're right. These are the chenilles with the big wide. Okay, so I could start anywhere on here and I could put them all down one by one, but the impatient me who is longing to stitch is just going to start up here and use the holes of the crochet. So small ones on the front and small ones on the front and big ones on the back, and use what's been conveniently provided for us by the maker, the previous, I don't even want to say previous, what am I thinking about? They made it before it found its way to me. I've been busy getting things organized for lots of things coming up and lots of projects, but all the time I knew I had to get through this day. So when I had those funny glasses on and they were making all sorts of noise in my mouth, I kept saying, you've got a reward coming. So just stay with it. So I just feel bold. So welcome to our newbies. No, I can't be bold yet because I've got white there and that would show. Okay, what are we going to do? I want to just do a few little, I want to make a feature of these joins. So I'm just sort of want to get them down a bit flatter before we start. Oh, pin is into my... So it's just a couple of little stitches that you won't see very much, except depending on the fabric. You see the little hole mark because I'm using a big needle, but it will mean I can take the pins out. I also had a moment of drama when I got home and I needed to have a rest, and I couldn't find my phone, and I thought, oh my gosh, imagine if I've left it in Sydney. I actually emailed, I couldn't call, I emailed the beautiful receptionist and said, look, just on the off chance, because in my heart I was thinking, what will I do without a phone? And you know what came into my mind? All my photos that I haven't backed up of my work, as well as not being able to film. Then I came up with plan B. I could use my husband's phone, but the receptionist beautifully said, Kate, have you tried Find Your Phone? And I've never had to use it before, but I found my phone, and it was having a swim with my husband at the local swimming pool. So all I had to do was wait for him to come home and give it a little charge, and here we are. So that's a happy ending. It was like one of those days because he waited for me and had a coffee, and I went to meet him at the cafe across the street from the dentist. He got sort of surprised that I was out already, jumped up, and next minute we walked out. Next minute we heard, excuse me, and the lovely girl from the cafe. Oh, hello, Vanessa. There's your heart, always with me. I've got to start making some of these. Look how beautiful and neat she is. Yeah, he'd left his wallet, so I thought, imagine if he had a near miss with his wallet and I came home without my phone. But crisis averted, all is fine. So I've got a contrasting pink, this one here now, variegated of course, and instead of trying to hide this join of the edge of the daisy and the doily and the green, I'm actually going to make something of it. But I like doing my stitches from the top down, so let's just change directions there. Honestly, if there was a way of stitching in a dentist chair, that would have calmed my breathing down. Because there we are. We're across that. Looks like a bit like a yellow banana. And now let's go down under here. I had a beautiful comment, and I'm sorry I haven't written back to anyone, but I read them as I keep telling you. But they stay in my mind, and one of you lovely people said that since finding me and watching me, they have found their own style because they've just relaxed. And I thought, oh, if I've just done that for one person, that really is just that I feel very honoured to have had a part in that person's journey. So that's just a reminder that it's so good to watch and learn from others, but at the end, as I always say, that was the best advice I got. Just do you, and look where I go now. I confidently make wonky stitches that are not even at all. But they're made with love and joy. And I would much prefer to be able to do them very beautifully, but I'm aiming towards that. So it's not that I've given up. It's just as I talk to you, I find it harder to even concentrate. And if I stop for a second, then they go even more wonky. All right, so we've still got cotton in our needle, and as I've been often heard to say, I go until the thread runs out. And these are my favourite marks at the moment. So I suppose my approach right now is that whether I call these tags or snippets or scraps, I'm making them with purpose, and I'm giving myself the option that they stay a full piece, or if I have another piece that this would speak to, they're here and ready, or might give me ideas. So like a sampler as well. 1, 2, 3. I think I've got enough for 5. Let's go with our odd numbers. They're a little bit on the side, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, so I do have to make a friendship block, and the theme is green. Missy, my friend Missy, who's over at Missy Made This, I think she's filmed the start of hers. If not, she will, and it's on Instagram. Hers is absolutely beautiful. We're all making our own styles, but I think I looked at this, and Missy she just works these colours beautifully. So maybe it's already in my head, the complementary colours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. I'm even getting better at tying knots on the back. That made Virginia and Judy smile the other day. So I was glad I could bring some joy to them that wayward Kate is moving in the right direction. Okay, so now I've lined that line, that branch up with the fabric below. And I feel like being really bold on here. I don't use red very often. I've got this brand new one that the lady in the shop talked me into. Let's just give it a whirl. She said it was a very handy colour that a lot of people use. So it's like orange, and this must be DMC. Yes, number 8, but I can't tell you what colour it is. And I'm feeling so bold and having so much fun. Then I'm going to double it. So we've got green and orange at the same time. Do you do that? What I want to do is actually be really bold and do them very close together here. So funny that I'm not using as much wool at the moment, but that's, I think, because it's also tangled up. Which will be rectified. I'm actually thinking that I might have to buy one of those wool winders. So I'm going to dye some of my own wool, and I can't have it coming out like that. looks a bit uneven there. Oh, it's a little far back. You know what I was just thinking? The beauty of these pieces is that it really is freedom, because if it doesn't if you make a mistake or this color is not, I can either go over it, cut it out, not use it, leave it for another time. So it's, what am I trying to say? Less risky in a way, and that in itself is freeing. It's almost like, I mean, I have read that you can go either side with the variegation if you don't want that block effect, which I would do next time, but this has been a learning. Now they are looking like, someone kindly told me that you can call these caterpillar stitches, and Kelly uses these. Okay, there we go. Oh, I've left myself short, but I've learned I can, if I've got two, I can tie them. So I'll come back and tie that, because my big fingers will, oh no. Okay. So we've used 3 threads already. The ecru, this variegated, we've got this thick, we've got some marks over there, and there is one advantage in having something like this, because I can just go through and find a colour that is complementary and pull it. And I actually noticed that this hasn't squashed up as much because it's been free, which shows me that I tied the other ones too tight. You probably knew that already, but I like it thicker. Maybe a bit long. Actually, I think I like the more orangey to come out first. Just trim that up a little. Pull that down, Kate. Might lose a bit in the knot. So that should be, yeah, that's fine with that. Okay, so let's do a little bit of what I would loosely call thread painting. Using the fabric as a guide, but not as the boss. finding is that every time I make one of these, I'm learning more about, so it is a sampler as well, like what's the effect of this thick wool over tiny patterns. I just was thinking then, see, we're amongst friends. Just thinking that my dentist is called the Smile Dentist. And I even like that. Of course, these flowers make me smile, so of course if I'm off to somewhere like that, I didn't even realise that until I was just thinking about how happy these flowers make me. Oops, a little bit tight, a little bit over the top. I could go faster. Maybe I'm going a bit slow. But then when you're in the minute, it's so fun, isn't it? And then I want to show you my other ideas for this piece with some more leftovers. These next bits are. Neighbour's dog, right on time, as his owner comes home from work. Where does that end? Okay, now we're going to join it up with the caterpillar stitch. Up there. And I have a choice. I'll do one more actually. So that joins that on. And then that's enough of that stitch for me. So now we'll just use the thread up with these cute little running stitches. Maybe the dog isn't getting enough attention. He's being lonely. Now I'm doing yellow stitching in the leaf, which I didn't plan, but feels good. And then we'll go back down this side. So not planned, just organic. Now we haven't got to the beads yet. Actually, I better have a look at how time is going. I'll see, time flies when you have fun. I want to show you some other ideas I've had. So I have this Suffolk puff, and before I did those stitches there, have I stitched this on? Yes, I have. Okay, so now it's probably going to be too big. Oh no, I can tuck. I thought this could be a continuation of that flower down there. So we'll just tuck that as an idea. And then in no way can this be called a scrap. But look at this, my friends. I'm using this on my, what's that called? The big collage colourful one. Oh, Garden Through the Window. And this is a little motif that could easily have made it on there. Now remember, I don't cut the stitches, but I don't think I've got room for that green. And what if this joined to this garden? Like that. I think then we would give more attention to this. And I think that's too big. I had this on my table before, but no, wrong colour. I do have this butterfly. I used a lot of these in my, it's too big for this piece, but I think I'm looking at those colours and excited about my quilt. Got lots of little laces over here. Find some tiny bits of I wonder if we talked a little while, I think ago I showed you this, how you can just use the little motifs in different ways. Nope, I don't think so. I'll use that on something else. Well, as I say, when in doubt, don't. I have no doubt that I'm going to use some gold beads up here, and probably not across, maybe a third of the way. So let's just have a play with those. Imagine they were, and anyway, I'll talk more about my beading when I've got a very special video coming up that I can't wait to share, but I didn't think it was right to do the moment after the dentist. Okay, that's probably been a bit far away, but there we are. That's what it's looking like now. So space here for the garden to grow up to there. This one, it's quite puffy. Probably I shouldn't have done all those layers, and there still might be opportunity. So to be continued. Look, I don't know whether just to show you these things once or to come back. So let me know, because some of you might think I never finish the pieces, and yeah, I just never know. Or I might try to come back and I've already chopped it up. And something like that. So there you are, Vanessa, just to show you that constantly being inspired. That won't go there, but it's a nice little end shot, isn't it? And just for those people that those beads would worry, we are. Thanks for sharing my nest with me this afternoon, and I will see you again soon. Bye.